Cuscuta. Cuscuta is a complete stem parasite which parasites the host plants for its water and nutritional requirements. It completely attacks the plant and causes its death. There are near about 200 species about Cuscuta. Among them, Cuscuta reflexa, Cuscuta chinensis, Cuscuta parasitica are mostly important species and they cause a lot of devastating damage on the croplands. It belongs to the family Convolvulaceae. It's a complete stem parasite. See, Cuscuta is a complete stem parasite. It completely parasites the host plant. It forms haustoria which enters into the plant body and it absorbs water and nutrition from the plant and it causes to dry. Then how to control Cuscuta? The best option is integrated weed management. Integrated means the methods which are deployed to kill a weed or a plant or anything or a pest which are economically friendly, ecologically viable and toxicologically free for environment and human beings or other living organisms. What are the methods of integrated weed management? One is physical control, cultural control, biological control, chemical control. The other two important aspects to control Cuscuta is latest technologies, use of allelopathy. Use of allelopathy means something by use of a chemical which is released by a plant which is used to kill another plant. So, for example, X, a plant releases a chemical. Those chemicals are called as allochemicals. This chemical will attack this Y means let us example say for example it is Cuscuta and it causes death of this plant or control this growth of this Cuscuta. Another important aspect current trend is use of genetic engineering means use of either resistant varieties or use of transgenic plants. So life cycle of Cuscuta. Very simple. Let us discuss about very briefly. This is the seed of dodder. Dodder is a common name of Cuscuta. Here, golden elevation color is Cuscuta. Whenever this seed is near about 10 to 30 years, it can be dormant in the soil once it is shed into the soil. So, whenever this seed germinates, since Cuscuta is an obligate parasite, means it compulsorily requires host for its survival. So, when the seed germinates, it cannot stay for a longer period of time after germination. So, it requires host for its maintenance, host for its survival. So, after germination, what happens? This seed tries to find a host for its attachment. So the first step in life cycle of Cuscuta is seed germination and identification of a host plant. So once the seed germinates, it produces or it tries to find a host plant for its survival. Let it be tomato or tomato, tobacco, etc. So what happens when the host is there? It produces some chemoattractants like in tomato beta factorin, alpha peptinidin. Like chemoattractants are produced by the host plant. These host plants attracts the Cuscuta seeds. Once these Cuscuta seeds find its host plant, the next step is generation of haustoria and adhesion. So this Cuscuta produces haustoria for its entry into the host plant. So it produces haustoria first step and afterwards it sends its adhesion process means it for its nutrition and water requirements it completely attachment. That process is called attachment. This Cuscuta will be attached to the host plant. Initially what happens after its attachment or adhesion, the host plant secretes cytosolic calcium for about 48 hours on recognition of the host plant. In response to the cytosolic calcium, this weed plant generates arabinogalactin proteins for adhesion. It gives some signals for a pathway for attachment or adhesion process. In such a process, what happens? The third step is host plant reaction. That is called host plant reaction. The host plant secretes cytosolic calcium. The weed plant secretes arabinoid proteins for its attachment. First step is germination. Second step is ostory formation and its entry in the plant body or a host plant and adhesion process for its nutrition water requirements. Next step is host plant reaction, that is generation of cytosolic calcium and weed in response generates aeroglactin proteins. After this, the Cuscuta is completely absorbed or attached to the host plant and it completely feeds on the plant for its water and requirements and the plant afterwards it dies. So coming to management of Cuscuta. First management step is physical control. This is the cheapest method to control Cuscuta, but it is very labor intensive and time taking. Very simple. In physical control, you are going to remove the weed seeds or a Cuscuta manually, either by tillage or by removing with the hand. That is the Cuscuta when it is attached to the plant, you are going to remove it manually. It is very labor intensive process. Next is cultural control. In cultural control, the best option is crop rotation. Why? Because Cuscuta cannot attack the plants of Poaceae in general. So whenever you are crop rotating with the Poaceae family crop, then the Cuscuta seedlings cannot attack the Poaceae family crop and they are going to perish. This is one of the best method in case of cultural control. The other one is use of allopathic crops, that is using mustard or radish where the Cuscuta cannot enter or Cuscuta cannot find its host. Very simple in cultural control. Our target is to not to germinate or not to make Cuscuta seeds to germinate and to reduce the weed seed bank or Cuscuta seed bank. If Cuscuta seeds doesn't germinate, automatically the seeds will die or they will be perished out in coming ongoing time, and the Cuscuta attack will be reduced. That is our main intention in case of cultural control. So whatever the methods that we are going to deploy, that should be able to reduce the weed seed or a Cuscuta seed bank in the soil. Either we are going for crop rotation or you're going for allelopathic crops, or you're going to reduce the broad-leaved seeds, broad-leaved weeds which are present on the land. So by this you are going to reduce the production of new Cuscuta seed. The main target is to reduce the present weed seed bank of Cuscuta and to not to promote or not to intensify the production of new Cuscuta seed. The next option is biological control. In biological control, what you are going to employ? You are going to employ some natural enemies to control Cuscuta, like ladybug beetles or stink bugs, which are used to reduce the Cuscuta, or they are going to attack Cuscuta and going to reduce the infestation of Cuscuta. Other instances like usage of fly, Melanogram is a Cuscutae, and Smirconix Zirgominae. So these are also attack the Cuscuta and reduce the infestation of Cuscuta. Nowadays, you are going to use nanotechnology for the control of Cuscuta chinensis, and you are going to use nanosilica as a nano herbicide which can manage the infestation of Cuscuta. There are some other methods which can produce some lignin compounds or flavonoid compounds which are going to kill the Cuscuta by hepatoprotective properties. With these properties is going to kill the Cuscuta, reduce the infestation of Cuscuta on the plant. Last option is chemical control, that is usage of herbicides. So mostly you're going to use non-selective herbicides like glyphosate or paraquat, that is contact herbicide, or 2,4-D to kill the Cuscuta. Why? Because since it is obligatory parasite, it must require host for its survival. So if you're going to remove the host, automatically the Cuscuta will be damaged, or it is cannot grow, or you can kill the Cuscuta by spraying herbicide on the Cuscuta itself by using glyphosate or other like pronomide. This is also a famous herbicide used to kill Cuscuta. Cuscuta seedlings are killed by several soil applied herbicides. Means by using soil applied herbicides like pronomide, flucloramide, and pronomide, you are going to reduce the Cuscuta seed bank in the soil. The other herbicides like use of oxyflorphin, pendimethalin, imazethopyr in berseem crop. This is a photo crop which Cuscuta is going to attack this berseem if you are not going to maintain. Mostly Cuscuta attacks during autumn season, that is from May to late August. And during this period, you have to control the herbicide, control Cuscuta, either means of biological control, physical control, mechanical control, or chemical control, or cultural control. Either of these process you have to use to control to minimize the attack of Cuscuta. So these are the different herbicides like 2,4-D, Cuscuta, Berseem. In Berseem crop, you are going to use oxyflorophene and pendimethalin. So this is in brief about chemical control. Next other important is allelopathy. Allelopathy, as you already mentioned, some plants in nature are able to produce some chemicals. That chemical is going to attack or reduce the influence on or attack the infestation of other crop. These chemicals are called as yellow chemicals. Means in biological, this is also a biological method. So biologically, some chemicals are produced. For example, Pardinium produces some allelochemical that attacks Pardinium itself, or it reduces the growth of Pardinium. This is called as allelopathy. You can use allelopathy in case of Cuscuta also. So the aqueous extract of sunflower leaves are used to control Cuscuta. Other important aspect is medicinal plant Melissa restricted the germination of dodder. The chemicals like didyl ester Fc, ophiobolin A, fusicoquin are found to inhibit the growth of dodder. The dichlomethane extract of weed, Coniza bonariensis, this is also broadleaf weed. The volatile compounds produced by this weed are used to reduce the growth of Cuscuta campestris. This is some outstanding examples to control Cuscuta by using allelopathy. The other one is genetic engineering, means you are going to use either resistant varieties or you are going to use transgenic plants. That is, for example, this is a plant. You are going to incorporate some genes into this plant that are able to tolerate the infestation of Cuscuta. That is called as transgenic, means you are going to transfer some genes from X plant that is tolerant to Cuscuta. That gene you are going to incorporate into the other plant, which is that gives automatically tolerance to Cuscuta. By use these are called as transgenic plants. So usage of development of transgenic plants is a budding science in case of Cuscuta management. This is in brief about Cuscuta management and its life cycle and its growth pattern